Hey, Dave from our Memories in Motion. I've had a lot of customers ask me how I transfer my VHS tapes, my high-8 tapes, mini DV tapes to DVD or to a digital file. So it's a little bit of a process that I go through with each tape to get an idea of the quality of the tape that I'm working with, and then I do the actual process. I'm going to try to show this with my phone and one hand and using the other hand to kind of go through the process of what I do. Okay, so sorry, I got a couple different projects going on here right now. What I have in front of me now is a high-8. So different types of tapes. You have your VHS tapes, your VHS-Cs, your high-8s, your video 8s, and then your mini DVs. So high-8 was kind of a progression from your video 8, then went to high-8, and then kind of mini DV was the next step, and then we went fully digital. So anytime if you want to do one of these transfers on your own, you always want to check the quality of the tape that you're working with, just to be safe, to make sure that it's not going to break on you right when it's in your player. So the first thing that I'm going to look at is the exterior or the cassette of the videotape. You can kind of see there's a stain on here. As long as it doesn't go over the top flap, you're usually okay. If you notice any staining within the actual tape, you may notice some. I've actually had some that are moldy if they've gotten wet. That's a no-go for me, because that mold is then going to get transferred into my machines, and that's going to be another big issue. And a lot of times, if the tape has already been wet and mold is showing, it's probably stuck somewhere within the mechanism as well. So when tape gets wet, it gets sticky, and then it sticks to itself, dries, and now it's kind of pasted onto itself. So you stick that into a player, not only are you risking getting mold in the player, but you're also risking the tape itself breaking. And these high-8s, when they break, it's a lot more of a pain to get them out than in your VHS or VCR. VCRs you can take apart fairly easily. There's usually 4 or 5 screws on the top of a VCR, and it pops off the top, and it's right. Everything's right in front of you. These high-8 players are a lot more delicate. So then one way we want to look at the tape, and I'm going to try to do this one-handed, is there's a little flap here, and we pull that forward, and we're looking at the tape itself. The tape should look nice and shiny. High-8s, be careful. Do not pull them too far forward. There's actually a track that the tape sits in. You don't want to get it out of the track. Believe me, I've done that, and it's just a pain to get back in. So that just nice and shiny. It shouldn't look milky. It shouldn't look brown. It should look dark and shiny. And if it's fairly clean cassette, your tape is looking shiny, doesn't look milky or brown or dry. Once you see one, you know what it looks like. If it's shiny and black, you're fine. Then you can kind of go on to the next step. The next step is then actually having some type of converter to convert your VHS, your high-8, your mini DV analog signal to a digital signal. So all your tape players are using an analog signal. Your traditional, you can see down here the yellow, red, and white, and your S video. Those are all analog connections. You need something that your computer will then be able to read into a digital file. So this is a old ConvertX. It was actually done by Plextor. Plextor doesn't even make these anymore. That converts the analog signal to a digital signal. So I've already rewound this tape. Sometimes it takes a little while to give you an idea of what comes next. Then we have a system that can run the drivers of that converting hardware. So this is a computer that I built 10 plus years ago. Actually still runs XP. It runs XP because that's the last drivers of this hardware. So it kind of shows you how old the hardware is, but it works. It's the best one that I've ever used. I've tried numerous other ones, and this gives me the best quality. Again, and we go back to our computer. This then is your software. If you buy a converting hardware, it will usually come with some type of software. So this software then reads whatever is on the converter. So we want to hit record first. Believe me, hit record first, don't hit play first. I've done that more than once and lost a couple seconds of footage and had to go back and redo it again. This is connected to headphones, so you're not going to hear audio. But there we go. So now it's converting. I will then go from this once everything is done. Hi8s are usually about an hour long. I can actually set this software to convert, or I'm sorry, to have a time so that I don't have to worry about sitting here for over an hour and it continuing to go and record. I usually have it set for 4 to 5 hours just because of most VHS tapes. That's about how long they are. Then I'll come and check it periodically if I need to. I do tend to keep an eye on these tapes. If I'm converting them, I don't tend to walk away very long, just because you want to make sure that you're not hearing any squeaking, any funkiness in the video itself, because that's giving you a good indication that something may be wrong with that tape. Again, this is a very clean tape. There's nothing jumping. Hi8s, you don't have to usually tend to worry about tracking issues. So we're good to go with that. Okay, next step. So I actually use 2 separate computers when it comes to converting and then editing. So XP machine, it's basically just there just to convert. Then I transfer everything over to my faster computer, more modern computer, to do the editing. So I use a program. It's called Easy Suite. It basically connects both computers to one another. I can transfer files back and forth, and then go from there. So I've already transferred the file for my customer. I'm going to go into the next step. So the next step is then to go into your editing program. So you can use whatever editing program you want to use. I use Corel Video Studio for 99% of my videos. And this can be kind of arduous, can be time consuming depending on what is needed for the, sorry for the shaky camera, for the customer. This customer just wants a standard transfer from his Hi8 to his mini DV. So it's a matter of finding the beginning and the end of a mini DV. I'm sorry, not mini DV, Hi8. Mini DVs look very similar though. So your VHS tapes have the snow. Everybody knows it as snow. It's the kind of white and black look to an end of a tape. Mini DVs and Hi8s, Video 8s have this blue screen. You just have to be careful when you're going through. You want to find the blue screen and then go past the blue screen, because if there's any stops and starts of a tape for mini DV and Hi8s, you're going to get a quick blue screen and then back to your video. So don't stop at the first blue screen, because you may very easily have missed something after the fact. So that's what I did here. Basically found the last potential blue screen. I was watching this, so I knew when it stopped. It stopped around 50 minutes. But good indication that it's the end is this kind of black screen to blue. That's usually a good indication that you've found the end of the tape. And then it's just a matter of taking everything out. I add a small little transition here, and then it's rendering. So that's the process. That's a kind of quick and simple, tried making it simple, video to show you how I transfer your videotapes to DVD or to USB. The only difference for the DVDs is the other step would be then to grab pictures of the different scenes. I take, depending on the length of tape, it can be every 10 minutes, it can be every 5 minutes, of a screenshot of what's on there. I use that then to create the cover. It's a matter of printing a cover for the disc case as well as the disc that gets printed. The disc has a sticky back. Disc label has a sticky back to it. I use what's called a stopper to put that on, and then that's it. So that adds a little bit of extra time. That's why it's a little bit more expensive to do that, and as opposed to the digital file. But then again, the digital file is rendered. That can take anywhere from 15 minutes to 2 to 3 hours, depending on how long the tape is. The longer the tape is, obviously the longer it takes to render. But that's it. So hope you guys find this kind of fascinating. I always found it fascinating, kind of how to take old technology into new technology. If you do like this kind of stuff, let me know. I kind of was thinking of doing a series of these videos showing how I do kind of each individual service that I offer, just to kind of give you a little bit of a peek into what I do, and what most transfer companies will do when it comes to your videotaping and your audio cassettes and your records, your slides. You saw earlier in the video, I'm also doing some slides for another customer. So if you find it fascinating, let me know, and I will continue to do these.